Today, trauma is a buzzword. I've just recently I've been on the beach nearby, and I've heard a couple of random guys talking about trauma this, trauma that, and this was very traumatic. And as a trauma specialist myself, I know that there is a lot of trauma in our society, a lot in every country during all of the ages, and we all have been exposed to some level of traumatic experience. No questions about this. But what real trauma is? Trauma, it comes in different phases, right? It can be a one big time event like a war, a car accident, or some major life altering event. Someone close to you died, or you lost your job. And this type of a trauma usually generates in a person called symptoms called PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, which I'll explain in another video. But what we seeing the most in the society we are in, it's something called complex post-traumatic stress disorder. This type of result in in symptoms doesn't happen from one individual event or a prolonged event. It happens from the childhood experience of abuse, neglect, or maltreatment. There's nothing pleasant about talking about how young children are not treated correctly. There's nothing fun about this. We all know stories, or we've been exposed to it ourselves, that as a young kid we were supposed to receive nourishment and unconditional love and be treated with kind and care, and in as a matter of fact we were actually getting the other part of this equation. Someone was not acknowledging ourselves, not validating our needs, not giving us an emotional support, overstimulating us, possibly beating us, or sexual abuse. There's a lot of different things which can happen to a young person while they are being brought up to life. And the main thing I'm personally specializing is complex PTSD, because it alters the way we are ourselves. It alters the way we behave, we grow up, it alters the way we think about ourselves and others. It's very often related with psychosomatic illness. It's often misrepresented in media or in the information we can find online. There's a lot of contradicting in intel about how to treat the symptoms. But primarily the main course of it is if there was some type of neglect, even neglect can trigger the complex PTSD symptoms in a person. As we know, not every person is the same. We are all having a different upbringing, different genetical code, and a different way of looking at world. Unfortunately, those early life experiences affect us equally. Of course, there is a different way of dealing with the reality because of the people we are with. We might have a close uncle or grandparents who are caring and loving, giving us support, but the parents are very demanding. This gives some contradiction about how we should live. And what I've noticed is that primarily people with complex PTSD, which is thing I want to be talking about in more of those videos, is those which relates with human soul and body misalignment. When something within our core, we are not our bodies, we are not our thoughts, we are the being which inhibits this. If the core of ourselves, the soul, has been damaged, has the space to express itself, to live the life it wanted, to make mistakes they are willing to commit. When we didn't have a time to rest, we didn't have space for privacy, our internal being is damaged. And that damage results in symptoms in our adult years. Depending on the way our nervous system during those years has been conditioned, as we mentioned here in the 3 layers of the brain, there are different parts of our body which have been conditioned to certain behaviors. If we have been always put in a threat mode because of a drinking father, or abuse, very heavy abuse in the household, or food maltreatment, our internal body will behave in a certain way. And the way it behaves is was simply conditioned during the early ages and steps of our lives. There's no one quick way to enlightenment, as Manly Palmer Hall said. There's none. It all starts with awareness. If you give yourself the time to notice what your body says, what your mind is thinking, you might start journeying towards a better future. There are always hidden parts within us. I don't know everything about myself. It will still take me a long time to discover all of the truths I'm possibly hiding from myself. But it starts with the encouragement that the will to live in a better way, it's there. I know that those experiences we talked about are not easy to swallow or accept, but this is the reality we are living in today. We, as individuals, have the power to control it and change the results of it.